Tess, Fear, and Miscu, and Valphalin woke up to find themselves in the wagon on their way to Dintherum. The memories of the mirrored planes and the battle with their reflected selves to be only a vague dream. The heroes quickly realized their predicament and reported to Antarius. Helthius inquired about the metallic orbs brought back from the mirrored planes on the hero's original journey into the strange future realm, and Valphalin and Fear handed them over. Helthius revealed that the wizard had been manipulating poor Tess by imitating the voice she relied on so heavily since her youth, then canted a spell and vanished into thin air. Her strange voice once again reached out to Tess, insisting she gather her companions and travel to a nearby obelisk and invoke the pool of scrying there so that they might explain further. The heroes made their way to the obelisk, where they faced down a stone golem, and the room at the rear of the dungeon beckoned unto Tess. Everyone, welcome back to New Dalancia, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. I am your most gracious DM, VGpunx, and also the voice of Valphalin Firesong. And Antarius in some in some scenes. All right, everybody, welcome back. For those of you who were not here last time, I pinged you with the things that happened during the last session. Those are experiences that you definitely remember at this point. But before we get more into that, I would like to go ahead and cut back to the where we left off last time. Which I put where? Ah, yes. This scene. This is going to be the obviously those who are not present are not going to be able to see. So feel free to switch back to the New Dalancia scene while I explain what's going on. Otherwise, you can tune into the stream at the twitch.tv/geeks_guilds_gamers to check out what's going on. If you remember, Tess, Fear, you guys had just slain the stone golem that seemed to act as some sort of guardian for the obelisk dungeon within. After slaying that guardian, Tess, the back room of this these two double doors here are beckoning to you.
We had agreed to take a short rest, though. Correct, because everyone was kind of tired after that.
Yeah, you had all agreed to take a short rest. This was like a very difficult encounter, and let's get some music going. Hopefully this is not too loud for y'all.
For those that are playing, if the music is too loud, please let me know, or let us know right away.
I actually don't hear any music.
Okay. You might want to crank it up a little bit.
No, it took a little second, but yeah, I can hear it.
It's very faint, but I have my voice volume turned up personally.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully that's actually coming through for y'all out there in Twitch land, but Tess, the stone golem had dropped. You scooped up a vial of the powdery stone that made up its body that it kind of crumbled off during the fight.
Can you just give me a couple minutes while I look through my spellbook real quick? There's something that I want to do, but I don't remember the name of it.
Valphalin walks over to you, Fear, and says, that was a brilliant strategy with the dagger. Intentional?
A happy accident.
A happy accident. He kind of looks back over at the fallen, crumbled statue and He scoops up the dagger off the floor and hands it to you. Still effective.
Yeah, let's just agree that we learned to hammer the point home.
Kind of glances over at Miscu. I see your point.
Question. How long is a short rest?
Short rest is I believe 4 hours.
That sounds right.
I'm actually looking at. Oh, it's 1 hour. You get 1 hour rest is a short rest.
Okay, I'd like to, or rather, Tess would like to move off to the side here a little bit, and using the dust from that golem that she just picked up, she's going to create a circle and then place her mother's skull in the middle of the circle to perform this augury. Using her, because her mother's skull has the what is it? What's the icon of Kellenvor on it that she drew like several sessions back? So that's like her religious or her divine tool.
So you just scoop up some of the dust from this statue.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we're going to sprinkle it into just like a basic circle form and place her mother's skull in the center of the circle. While she, excuse me. Allergies today, oh my gosh. Okay. While Tess sits at the edge of this circle, staring at her mother's skull, and she's going to focus on reaching out to an otherworldly entity. So I think she's going to try and choose the voice that she has heard in her head her entire life. And she's going to basically reveal, like, Tess's next action is going to be walking through those doors that are calling to her. Can I get an omen? Can I get a hint? Can I get, is this the best possible path?
Let's see.
But Tess is going to have to sit there focusing for a while, so if you need to think
1
on
minute.
that...
It's only a 1 minute ritual.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, that I plan to take, or the step that I take to plan within the next 30 minutes, so Tess will not be resting here for the entire 4 hours.
Or hour, yeah.
Or hour, yeah.
While you're doing that, Valphalin, once again to you, Ian Fear, after handing you the dagger, doesn't seem to notice that Tess has kind of wandered off, but you looking in that direction and having the dark vision that you do, have noticed that Tess has kind of wandered off and made this circle and is now sitting down inside it. Valphalin kind of twirls around towards you to sort of the right side. Do you see any damage to my armor? Am I okay?
I mean, I'm not exactly the best expert at these sort of things, considering I've never used it myself, but I can see if I can find any imperfections.
Imperfections, you say?
While Tess is focusing, I need to AFK for a sec. I'll be right back.
Are you doing something in particular, or are you just looking?
I mean, like, the most I can do is just look, honestly. I don't like, I barely have skill, like even proficiency for wearing armor. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's pretty easy to look at armor and be like, oh, that's absolutely damaged, or there's like something wrong right there. But yeah, you look it over. He looks fine. He's you don't know. I guess just making conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can never tell with Valphalin.
Yeah, looks like it'll take a few hits and keep on ticking.
Good to know.
I would think you'd be more concerned if it were ticking.
I don't believe I've heard this idiom before. Ticking? Why would my armor be ticking? He looks at you with sort of a confused.
Well, it takes a licking.
Why would anything be licking my armor? He kind of thinks about it for a moment. No, I've never read anything about licking armor. This is strange.
Oh, I'm sure you've come across something like that in some of those spicy novels.
Again, with the spicy novels. What novels are spicy? I do not ever attribute a flavor to the books that I've read.
Well, especially the books that involve licking.
Okay, I'm back now.
Even more questions. Tess, you, the sense that you get from opening the door is an overwhelming sense of wheel. Which is, it's good. Good
Wait,
results.
no, okay, wheel. Good results, okay. Tess is going to finish off this ritual while I take my notes on the side. Give me a moment.
So, if I'm following your logic correctly, there are novels that have a flavor that talk about licking armor, amongst other things.
Amongst other things, yes.
And explosions. These do sound spicy.
We'll have to prepare another torch then, because these were only supposed to last an hour, so.
It hasn't been nearly an hour. Well, oh, no, you know what? You did rest.
Short
yes.
rest.
Yeah, you can go ahead and prepare a second torch. I'm not going to redo the light or anything.
Yeah.
Or I can have or Valphalin do it if you prefer. The hell am I looking for? Oh, right, the short rest. So yeah, everybody present can go ahead and take a short rest. For everybody else, you can go ahead and take a long rest because, yeah, we're getting to that in just a moment.
Time to remember how to short rest. Let's see.
Go to your character sheet.
I see it. I found it.
Cool.
Found it.
Tess, what are you up to?
Tess is going to recollect her mother's skull. Give it a little kissy kiss on the forehead.
Thank you.
And then put it back into her bag.
Talk to you later, sweetheart.
Tess loves you, Mom. And then we're just gonna leave the circle of used golem ashes right where they are. So after collecting her mother's skull, Tess is going to walk back to the group. Is everyone doing okay?
Valphalin looks around at you, sort of inquisitive, puzzled look up on his face. Are you okay?
Tess is fine, but absolutely ready to walk through those doors.
I assume you like gesture.
Yeah, she's gonna turn around and point toward the doors.
Fear's gonna sort of remark, I noticed you did that thing like you did a while back with the circle. I hope it was good news.
She shrugs. To Tess, it did seem like good news. It was good results. All Tess wanted to know was whether or not we should walk through that door.
Okay then.
Valphalin approaches the door. Once he kind of leaves the circle of light from Ian Fear's torch, he kind of feels his way toward the wall. Ian Fear, as you approach Valphalin, he's sort of feeling around on this door, checking about, kind of goes past the doorknob and...
Is Misku just kind of passed out right now because, like, she's really tired from the fight? Or...
Misku's
Okay.
Misku's kind of trudging along behind you.
'Cause
Tired.
It was only a short rest, so she didn't get the beauty sleep she needed.
Right? Okay. Seems clean to me. Unless you would like to take a second look.
Tess was given no reason to worry about going through the doors. Seemed to be good results all around.
Tess, you actually kind of remember in your vision seeing the front of this door, but that's about it, just seeing it. Everything beyond the front of this obelisk is a bit hazy.
So when she saw the door, nobody, like none of her friends were standing in front of her or anything?
Oh, yeah, sure, you saw your friends around you, but
was Tess
the
the one
images are so
opening the
vague.
door? Like is it she's so close up to the door she was the one that could have been possibly opening it?
yes.
Okay. Raising her right hand up, she'll say, "But wait, perhaps Tess should be the one to go first."
As you wish. Valphalin sort of steps aside.
Tess may not look it, but Tess is pretty strong. But she is going to feel a little nervous, and she's going to hesitate for a moment and look at the doorknob.
What's wrong?
Tess is just not sure what's on the other side. Can I, I'm trying to think what kind of investigation I want to do here. Like, can I like check for like magic? Like, is there any kind of like aura or something that I'd be able to pick up on?
You have the detect magic spell?
I might. Let me see.
You have detect. Yeah, you do have
Yeah,
detect
I do.
magic.
Okay.
Yeah, use it.
Wait a minute, though. Now I'm torn. Do I detect?
Valphalin.
Do I detect evil and good, or do I detect only magic?
Valphalin, for a moment,
Moment.
kind of ponders what you just said, and he says, "But do we ever know what's on the other side of the door?" That's part of what makes the door so interesting, I would think.
Did you have something to say, Ian Fear? I thought I heard you chime in for a moment.
Yeah. Infear is just gonna say, no matter what, whatever lays behind that door, we'll face it together.
This fills Tess with a sense of strong determination. And then she, recalling back to her early times adventuring with the crew, she kicks open the door like she did.
Roll a
Get him,
strength check.
Tess.
A strength check. Okay, let's go. Where's my strength? There it is.
So,
Oh, shit.
so the door comes completely off
Stroke.
its hinges. This thing just like and like falls flat on the floor.
How tall
Valphalin
is
sort of-
Tess?
I think Tess is like 5'2" or 3. Like she has a tiny thing.
Valphalin takes a step back. He's like, the door just like falls flat, like like in front of you, completely open. On the other side, you don't see anything except this very foreboding. What do I call it? It's like a pool. It's like some big bowl that's set atop like an altar.
Now that is a stream highlight of the century, to be honest.
So- Ian Fear is gonna go walk over to the other door and like push it experimentally with his finger.
Go ahead and roll a wild man. No, I'm just kidding. The door explodes. No, it seems to be a regular door.
And then he's gonna look over to Tess and say, "Okay."
Overkill much?
Tess just got a little excited, inspired by friendship and all. And she's going to walk into this room.
As Tess like disappears beyond the door, Ian Fear, Val turns to you and goes, Tess is very often excited. Have you noticed?
Mm-hmm. She must have gotten a hold of quite a few spicy books in her day.
I do hope that I am never the subject of her excitement.
I pity any man who is.
Tess
Or
beyond
anyone
the
for that
door.
matter.
Tess, beyond the door, there is, like I said, there's an altar. Flanking it on either side are these two, are those called I believe those are called candelabras. No. The candelabra is the one from the ceiling, right?
I believe so.
They're like candles on stands. They're currently not lit, and in the center
So
of this altar is a big bowl.
The bowl has it has like liquid in it, right?
You can't really tell from this distance, but you remember vaguely from the vision that you were offered earlier that it does.
Okay. Is it my turn or is it someone else?
Oh, anybody can go. We're not in combat.
I'm gonna go up to sort of examine this altar.
Oh yeah, Ian Fear's the light source, so Tess is gonna try to stick close to him in this room.
Valphalin follows closely behind you.
Do we see the outline of the bowl from here, or do we have to get closer?
You can see the outline of the bowl from here. You can see you can make out the altar and everything. It's kind of dimly lit from this distance, but you can see it.
Tess is gonna point at it, and she's gonna lean over to Ian Fear and say, "That must be the crying pool that Tess heard of. The pool of crying."
Crying? I mean, I've certainly cried my pool of tears before, but never has it been collected.
Was it because of the barmaid?
No, the barmaid was the one doing the crying.
Was
Although
that
there were
because
not many tears. That
Was
were
it
involved.
because you were bad in bed?
Was it because of the explosion?
It was definitely because of the explosion.
This just raises more questions.
Tess is going to take a step forward.
Stepping toward the altar, you can definitely see that there is, as you expected, a liquid set inside.
And then it finally, she recalls it. Oh, scrying, not crying. Although
Would make more sense.
Tess is honestly not quite sure what scrying means.
Oh, yes, I have this one. To scry something is to see it.
So why not just call it pool of seeing?
Because what about the pool of Dean?
Seeing? What is thee?
D. A, B, C, D.
What is a bowl of D'ing?
That's what comes after the bowl of C.
I'm not sure I follow your logic.
A, B, C, D, E.
And Tess is gonna walk up to the pool of scrying.
Meanwhile, Valphalin is back here saying, but Ian Fear D is not a verb, it is a noun.
D's.
Are you charging something?
These nuts.
I'm feeling a bit peckish. Do you?
Do you have nuts?
Okay.
All right, so Tess is now in front of the pool of scrying, and she says, "Well, Tess came just as you requested."
Nothing seems to happen. The bowl of water is just still. You feel like intuitively like you need to do something, but you have very vague memories of what that something is.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think we need a little more light. So Amphere's going to snap his fingers, and he's going to use prestidigitation to light the candles on the candelabras.
I don't want to catch on fire. I'll step back a little bit.
You light the candles.
Can Tess try to recall what she saw in that memory?
Go ahead and roll a wisdom check. You remember that you have to sort of invoke the pool somehow? You distinctly remember seeing your kind of arms raised over the pool. And, some bit of focus needing to be upon the pool in order to invoke it.
Okay.
Sort of like you do with your spells.
So she's going to reach her arms out, her hands hovering above the pool, and she's going to see if she can just like concentrate, I guess, her own like personal like ether magic kind of combo into the bowl.
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check. Nice. Okay. So the water starts to swirl. And after a couple seconds, a sort of faint glow appears around the bowl. Seems to be emanating from the water itself, and continuing to swirl, the figure of a devil appeared in the water. It's sort of distorted by the sort of watery effect, but you can make out the face pretty well. It's a face that you've never seen before, but seems pretty familiar to you.
Can Tess recall when they've seen this face?
No, but it has this sort of very familiar feeling to it. Like, you don't feel like this is your enemy necessarily. Like, you feel like this is someone that you've known for a very long time. You see the eyes on his face widen, and they say,
Tess, it is good to hear your voice and finally see your face. You've grown into such a powerful being. I am so proud. Now, our time is short, and you must listen well. the wizard Healthius has betrayed you. Using the orbs you collected from your jaunt into the future. He's beginning to learn how to bend time itself to his will. You may have noticed that history has been erased twice now. Both have been tests that he is executing. I am dishonored by my own role in this.
Wait a minute. Before you continue, is there a way that Tess can, while she's concentrating, can she, like, be speaking these words in tandem to communicate to Val, Ianfear, and Miscu, like, what she's hearing at the time, almost like a speaker?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay, so obviously y'all didn't catch the beginning of it, but she's going to start, like, repeating the words that this person is saying.
From this point on?
From this point on, yeah.
Okay, here's the rest of it.
He had subdued my presence within your spirit to block me from reaching out to forewarn you. He, meanwhile, used my own voice to guide you along his path of wickedness. While you toiled to stop the plague, he worked to understand the weaves of time wound within the orbs. I am unsure of his intentions with the power of these orbs, but it is clear that his motives are ignoble and have global outreach. Soon, he will send you back to the present. You must finish your quest and then depart immediately back to the physical plane and locate his base of operations wherever in the world that may be. Be careful, my daughter, his eyes soften. Reach inside you and call upon my power and know that I am proud of all that you have become.
The voice sort of diminishes a bit, but the image stays in the water, staring back at you, eyes wide. It seems you might have a chance for a question, if you'd like to impart one.
Tess has but just one question. What is your name?
His eyes soften once more, and he kind of smiles as his face begins to fade into the water.
My daughter, you have always known my name.
And his face just fades away.
Looking down at the water, Tess is gonna pout and say, well, that is just bullshit. And then she's gonna turn back to Valphalin and Ianfear and say, Tess is not quite sure how much you picked up, but Healthius is definitely a danger to us all.
Oh, it was Healthius the whole time. Oh, I couldn't tell who, because I only heard.
Right? It should have been obvious. Tess is so disappointed.
Tess, was that the voice?
Yes. The very same voice that Tess has been hearing her entire life, but also the same voice that Healthius has been using, and Tess honestly cannot tell the difference. Tess is not sure to what extent he's able to use this against us.
Well, I have my obvious concerns about the news of Healthius. I am somewhat happy that you have some closure on that. And he doesn't even finish his sentence before everything just kind of fades to black for all of you.
I have to AFK for just a sec. I'll be right back.
Actually, let's go ahead and cut to break real quick, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes and pick up from there.
All right, 15-minute break. BRB.
Welcome back. You all, everyone present, Yolanthe, Talanith, Tess, Ian Fear, you all awaken back in the cabin. You recall the cabin from before, the one that had the window that was overlooking the castle or the fort or castle or whatever it might be up on that big ledge in the middle of the this bowl canyon. You still retain the memories of what seems to have happened in the over the past couple of days, the battle with your mirrored selves, which seem to be suddenly cut short, the strange occurrence that seemed to be in your own past. But it all seems like it may have just been either a dream or a vague memory.
So were we like laying on the floor sleeping? Like, is that the kind of position
Yes.
that we were in? Okay. So
That's correct.
Tess is going to sit up and look around the room and take in her surroundings real quick to readjust herself and figure out where she is.
You see that Val Phelan is sort of laying back, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, kind of peering around occasionally. Was it a dream?
Tess does not think so after learning what Tess has learned.
Okay. That is somehow at least a little bit comforting. But what of the others?
Tess is going to look toward where Ian Fear would probably be. I don't know where Ian Fear currently is. Ian Fear, hello?
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Hard to say. But it
No
seems
escape
as
from
though-
reality.
Tess
It seems as
definitely
though-
feels like she's been through a landslide.
It seems as though everything that we've experienced might have been reality. Val Phelan sits up from his pile of furs.
Where are Yolanthe or Talanith, even Miscue, like, are they all in that same room?
Yes, everybody is in the same room now. Yolanthe is actually in wolf form, and Talanith, I'm not. Talanith, you're probably just waking up as well to hear all of this. Kind of weirded out because everything that you experienced, you seem to have experienced, and now you're hearing others talk about different experiences than what you had. So
he's a little unfazed because after being in this place, he's kind of used to this kind of thing happening.
Val Phelan, on the other hand, seems to be doing what the dragonborn equivalent of sweating.
Is he
This
like
is all
steaming?
very troubling.
Is he like smoking out of the pores or steaming out of the pores? Like, how do
Something like that.
dragonborns sweat?
Ian Fear, you might need to go back.
Does he just does he shed his skin like right there? Like,
Yeah, even clicking the thing back and it's just a blue screen of nothing.
Try refreshing. No, Valvalen just kind of has a very worried look on his face. Otherwise, scales are kind of frilled out a little bit more than normal.
Not knowing if anybody else had the same dream as her, but not wanting to look like the ever crazy one that this tiefling is, Tess is going to exclaim, "Whew! Tess just had the wildest dream," and she's gonna look at Yolanthe and Talanith and see if they have anything to say about what they experienced.
Yolanthe kind of pads over and licks at Tess's hand.
Valvalen, suddenly his eyes grow wide. He looks over and scoops up the ferret thief in one hand, squeezing it. He could be watching us even now.
Talanith kind of looks over because he doesn't know. And he just raises an eyebrow.
Yolanthe growls at the ferret.
Allow Tess to explain real quick. Please do not crush the ferret.
I see no reason not to, but
Just hold on to him.
indeed.
We do not know if this ferret is actually... If it was a real ferret, and Tess is going to go off on one of her little Tess tangents. If it was a real ferret, Tess would feel so bad about killing it. However, that being said, she's going to turn and look to Yolanthe and Talanith and say, Tess knows that you specifically, to Talanith, do not know who Healthius is. This was somebody we thought was a good friend of ours who was traveling with us. It turns out that he's not all that friendly. He has been manipulating Tess, pretending to be a trusted voice in Tess's head. And she knows she sounds crazy to people who don't know her that well. But Tess really does trust this voice. Healthius has been using it for bad. Doing something. He's no good. We have to find his base of operations immediately. We have to get out of here.
Tess, I need to do something about this ferret. It's becoming difficult to keep track of. I disagree that a summoned creature has a soul, however.
Yolanthe lunges for the ferret and tries to grab it like a toy to shake it.
Dexterities check, please.
Hill shakes.
I'm sorry, you said dexterity?
Yes, dexterity check, please. And I'm going to have Valfalen roll an opposing dexterity check. You snatch this ferret by the tail, and it is currently in your mouth, squirming, but you have a very tight grip on it. It cannot get away. You sink your teeth into the tail. Blood starts to drip down your muzzle.
Sorry, I'm trying to be clear. I'm not trying to kill it. Just trying to...
Nope, just trying to hold it.
Yeah, just trying to, scare it.
One moment. Yeah, I know you're not trying to kill it, but you have teeth.
Yeah.
You're holding on to it.
Yeah, you've got a grip on it. It's not going anywhere.
So it's a magical creature. There's a possibility that it could be dispelled.
It could be dispelled. I, for one, perhaps we should cast it through one of the mirrors.
Good idea to me.
That would be a more peaceful option. However, I still wonder if a summoned creature has a soul. But perhaps that is not for me to decide.
Can I attempt to dispel magic to make the ferret creature disappear?
Yes, yes, you can. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell 3rd level or lower, the target ends. Which is 3rd level for each spell 4th level or higher on the target. Make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. 1 moment on that. Hang tight. Apologies. There it is. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. So you focus for a moment. You utter a quick cant and wave your hand. The ferret seems to sort of curl in upon itself and cease to exist.
Yolanthe like smacks her lips like how an animal that just ate cotton candy that just vanishes, looking around like, wait, what?
Like a raccoon dipping cotton candy in water.
Yeah, any trace of this being is immediately gone.
Getting
We're getting a lot of breath noise from you.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of breathing.
Who, me?
No, me.
Ian Fear.
Oh.
Well, that takes care of the spy in the room.
Tess is still very concerned about the fact that Healthiest is on board with Antarius and everybody else, and the mirror.
Your voice, as you dictated back to us, seemed to insist that we should complete our current objective. I have known Antarius for a very long time at this point. He is capable of taking care of himself and dealing with someone on deck. It was apparent during our previous encounter that he is aware of what's happening, at least somewhat. He may look to Healthius with, well, suspicion. It is logical to assume that the captain will take the course of action that is due. I, for one, am not worried.
You would know your friend a lot better than Tess does, so Tess trusts you.
I must ask, what of you, Yolanthe Talanith? You were not present in the... well... what happened? Are you both okay?
I'm fine, he says. Are you?
Yolanthe sits and nods her head.
Yeah, Talanith just says he's fine.
It was just us then. This is very troubling, but we have other matters to tend to.
Indeed.
And Valphalin sort of looks out toward the window, toward the
big
derelict
tower, right?
castle. Yep.
Yeah, Tess is gonna point her finger out that window and say, yes, exactly, like reaching the top of that thing.
Pretty much everybody at this point can go ahead and clock yourself in for a long rest. as we've just completed one. So,
remind me, how do we do that? It's been a while.
yeah, sure. Open up your character sheet, and on the very first page, on the attributes page, under your hit dice, there is a button for S rest and L rest. Just hit the L rest button.
And on my character sheet right now.
So it'll be right under the one that says hit dice. Yours says 9 out of 9, and then it says S rest and L rest just underneath that.
Got
There
it.
you go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to take some time to look through my spells and prepare some things, so just give me a few moments.
Talanith, you mentioned that you had spent some time in this area, but you had never found your way to the base of the cliff before.
That's correct.
I believe that makes you the most qualified among us to, guide us through this forest.
Well, I can do that.
I have trust in you, my new friend.
Talanith nods.
Before we move on, do all of you remember a battle? I recall before that most of you had stepped back through the mirror and had engaged in combat of some kind. Misku staying
With
behind for a
ourselves?
moment. Perhaps I had stayed behind.
You do recall a combat in which you faced your mirrored versions of yourself.
Was that a dream that only I have had?
Tess recalls it, right?
Oh yeah, you all do.
Oh no, Tess was there for that. That was no dream.
Interesting. The more I think about what's happened, the more questions it raises. I truly dislike time travel.
It does seem the Healthiest has had a lot of control over time than we have ever thought. I mean, Tess never saw that coming.
It doesn't seem that he's able to manipulate time without our knowledge. However, I did notice that many of the dwarves that we encountered in the past seem to be unaware of the skip in time. Those of us who came into contact with the orbs, however, seem to be aware of it. Antarius, myself, Ahara. Well, Ahara was asleep, but you, Ian Fear, we all seem to be aware. But the dwarf, when we woke up, acted accordingly, according to the past. Did you not notice?
Yeah, I noticed it was a little weird.
I wonder. Well, perhaps that is something to think about another time. Let us focus on the task at hand.
Valphalin starts to gather his gear, and he dons his armor, albeit slowly, strapping on the plates onto his arms and over his chest.
I'm just
if-
now finishing up preparing my spells. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. If I could get some help, please, adjusting this strap. I have trouble reaching it, you see. You just kind of like vaguely asking anybody.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Infear's going to do it. Nice.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll help you get your strap on.
Thank you. So you help Valphalin strap his armor back on. He stands up, sort of checks himself, makes sure he has everything, picks up his blade and places it back into its scabbard. Talanith, can you offer any insight what we might face when we exit the cabin? None of us have ever been in this forest before.
Does Talanith know? I mean,
I'd like you to go ahead and roll a wisdom check.
okay.
This will be for a few things here.
Wisdom check, ability check.
That's right. Okay. Over the course of the time that you spent lost in these woods, you were constantly climbing trees, checking out where that where the tower sat, like within these woods. But it seemed like every time you seemed to get your footing, you wound up more lost. But the entire time you were out there, you never really physically ran into any other physical being. The only thing that you recall are several instances where you either heard voices or heard like what you assumed to be a living creature, only to find that there was nothing there. So whether that was something that happened that was a hallucination, or something that was actually there, you have no idea.
Okay, so Talanith is going to look over at Valphalin and tell him this place has a way of altering your perception of things. The further that you get in, further lost you are.
That somehow offers me ill comfort. But I thank you for your insight.
Talanith nods.
Oh, well. Is there any other business we should attend to here before we depart?
No, Tess is ready to go. She double checks that her mother's skull is inside her bag and that she has her favorite quarterstaff with her, and she's ready to go.
Yolanthe lets out a loud howl and wags her tail.
Aimfear's actually going to reach into his pocket once more, just to double check to see if they are in their sort of like the correct place. Try to find the pocket mirror.
The mirror's there,
I
yes.
thought you were talking about your nads for a second. I was like, okay.
You see Ian Fear reach into his pocket and he starts playing pocket pool.
He's like, 1, 2. Yep, they're here.
Gotta secure the family jewels.
3, that's weird.
3? Oh, that's the mirror. But there it is. It was betwixt your buttocks the entire time. So is everybody ready to go then?
I'm ready.
Ready here.
Ruff.
Talanith, we'll be right behind you.
Talanith walks out the door.
All right.
Starts
one
heading
moment here.
in the direction of the tower.
Okay, so Talanith, I'd like you to go ahead and roll. Let me see here. What do we have? Just checking your features real quick. Do you have any kind of like tracking bonus, anything like that?
Survival.
You do have the survival. Okay. Go ahead and roll a survival check.
Okay.
All right, and I'd like to, well, let me go ahead and roll. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and roll this on my end here. Whew, okay. So for a round, or well, for a few hours, you seem to wander endlessly through this forest. Talanith, you occasionally make your way back up to the treetops to make sure that that you're on the right path. Looking down to check to make sure that of your facing. This time it's a bit different because you've got other people to kind of check yourself with instead of having to rely on vague, environmental objects in order to get your bearings, which seem to have lied to you in the past. But these people, they don't belong here. Perhaps they can't be manipulated in the same way that the rest of the terrain obviously can. It's almost too easy to continue keeping your bearings on this tower and then climb down from the treetops and inform the rest of the party on which direction to walk in. And you seem to actually start to get some kind of leeway. Perhaps the entire time, the object of the game, as it were, was teamwork. You start to get close to this huge, huge cliff with no discernible way up. But as you start to approach it, the vague and very faded outline of a path begins to form in the woods.
He looks down at everyone else and says, I think I found a path.
Ooh, show us the way, please.
And he gets down and leads everyone towards this path that he sees.
Just one moment while I pull this up real quick. The path is very, it's not very well trodden. As such, it's quite overgrown in most areas. But you see as you kind of climb these trees and look down upon the surrounding forest, you can see this just very vague and faded path leading directly in the direction you need to go, making things quite a bit easier. But this is brand new. You've never seen this path before. You've never come close to this. Before long, and just up the way, you spy a couple of statues flanking a single sign with a strange set of pedestals at its base. You pause for a moment, and Valphalin calls up to you. Telenith, do you see something?
And can you say what it was one more time? I didn't.
Yeah, it's like the path just kind of stops at this strange sign with a few pedestals underneath it, and it's flanked by these two statues. You can't really make out what they are, but you can definitely make out that they're stone.
Telanith looks down and says, "There is something ahead, but I suggest that we proceed with caution." And he says, "I'll lead on in case it's dangerous."
Is it alive?
No, not likely. But keep your
Valphalin kind of...
senses- He says, "Keep your senses about you, despite that."
Always. He sort of pats the hilt of his blade. He looks over at you, Ian Fear, and he says, oftentimes, it seems easier to deal with the things that are living. At least they can be reasoned with.
What are we talking about? Do we see something up ahead?
You overheard Telanith talking about seeing something up there.
Do they look humanoid? Like the silhouettes?
No,
Are you-
Statues?
it's two statues.
Shaped like
It's a sign.
monsters or...
I don't think
you at-
Telanith can see that.
Are you asking in character or?
Yeah.
Do I need to?
Telanith?
do I
Yeah,
need
go
to
ahead
roll?
and go ahead and roll a perception check, if you please.
Oh, there it is.
That-
Okay, sorry.
That's not really accurate. That's too much background noise.
Yeah.
Let's
The
do.
the dice are not with me today.
Yeah, you can't really make out exactly what they are. They kind of just look like a couple of. They kind of just look like a couple of stone things. Perhaps monsters.
Okay.
So what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to approach these things? What do you want to do?
Seeing as this is something different from, Telanith's first encounter throughout this forest, he's going to want to go up to it, but cautiously.
Cautiously, how?
Slowly.
Okay, so you're just going to approach it slowly?
Yes.
Are you trying to stealth up to it or just like
You know
walk?
what? Yeah.
Because Tess will admit right off the bat, Tess is not the stealthiest, and she'll point at Val and say, and Val is least stealthiest.
That is fair.
Maybe I should go ahead and see what this is.
Neolanthe kind of pads up beside him.
Beside Talana?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
It appears like you'll have a companion for this. I'd like you both to roll a stealth check.
Thought you would.
That's still a nice roll.
There's not a stealth option on my wolf sheet.
Unless
Unless it's just too low.
No, there is. Yeah, you have a +6 in it. Here, I'll go ahead and roll it.
Okay, I think it's just the character sheet doesn't let me lift it up.
We got a 12 on that.
Oof.
Okay, you both kind of dodge into the trees, making your way very slowly and quietly. And as you approach, these definitely are a couple of statues. They look to be humanoid, kind of leaned over, almost into sort of the pose of like a gargoyle. They're kind of over on all fours, and they have the big gaping mouth, and they're just kind of staring out, dead. You don't really sense any motion or anything like that from them, but you do notice this sign. You can't really make out the reading, what it says from this distance, but below that sign there are several pedestals and these various runes, stones that have runes inscribed on them of various colors, just kind of laid out on the ground.
What do the runes look like?
You're a little too far to be able to tell at this point. Would you like to approach them?
Or Talanth would.
Talanth will?
Yeah,
Yolanthe, are you?
Yolanthe will be going along just to keep an eye on him.
This wolf stays right at your side, within 5 feet of you, Talanth, and you sort of slowly creep up these big statues, seeming to be larger than you originally realized, and you look down at this. Everybody should be able to see that. So you look down at these various runes. There looks to be some that have, hopefully this works. Yep. Looks to be some that have what looks like a sun. What looks like a set of, maybe that's snow, a tree, and some leaves. Looking up, you see a sign. Let me see if I can, I know that I... A faded sign stands above 4 tiny stone pedestals. Near each of the pedestals sits a small stone about the size of the palm of your hand. Each of these stones bears a different symbol. The sign reads, "The first path begins with life and proceeds as does the tides of time. The second is the first, but in the reverse. The third is the reverse of the first, reversed if the first began with night. The fourth is the reverse of the reverse of the first, if the first was reversed."
Where's the draw 4 button?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I want to look at each of these stones.
So I take it you're approaching behind them, Ian Fear.
Let me see if I can see where I am. Sorry.
Oh, you're not on the yeah, there are no like tokens for this. This is just the scene with the little pedestals here. So Ian Fear, you stroll up behind them, sensing now that there doesn't seem to be any danger as they've fully approached this sign at this point, been there for a minute or two. You read the sign, which you can see perfectly clearly, and looking down at the various stones, you see over here there are stones with what looks like a sun. This set of stones looks like they have what appears to be like a snowflake or something of that sort. They're blue. This one has what looks like a tree, and this one has what looks like leaves. Interesting.
So whatever.
I'm sorry,
We're
can
gonna
you
do-
say the shapes one more time?
The first over here, where I'm pinging, these 4 seem to have what looks like a sun. These 4 seem to have what looks like a snowflake. These 4 seem to have what looks like a tree, and these 4 seem to have what looks like leaves inscribed on them. The colors are red for the sun, blue for the snowflake, green for the tree, and brown for the leaves. Interesting. Malphalin sort of paces up and looks closer at these statues.
So Fear is gonna sort of grab. So these are all small stones, right?
Yes, yeah, they're about the size of the palm of your hand. Like they
So
fit right in the palm of your hand.
he's gonna look to grab first the one that looks like it's inscribed with a tree,
Okay.
and he's gonna take it to sort of the to the very first sort of like uh thing, like right over here. I'm gonna see if I
I
can
forget
ping
if
it
I
real quick.
allowed you to move these. Can you guys move them? Can anyone? Or
Let me see if I
maybe we can assign one
I'm trying to
person
see
to
if I can
move
even.
them.
Let me see if I can select it. Select. It does not allow me to drag it.
Okay. Give me a second here. So this will be the tree one. Okay. Can you move it? Can you move the tree one now?
No.
That's no problem. Where did you want to move the tree to?
To this pedestal over here.
You place the tree into the first slot on this pedestal, and it seems to just fit right into place.
Then he's gonna come over towards this sun one right here, and he's gonna move it, put it over on the one right next to it.
Okay. Once again, the pedestal just kind of sinks right into place.
Next, he's gonna go over towards this, towards the one with the leaves falling down, and he's going to place. He's gonna put it over onto this third pedestal.
Valphalin kind of watching you. What is your line of thinking here, Ian Fear?
So it says, so this says that it's following the path as if the path of time, as it follows a progression of time. So, and he's gonna grab this last one, the snowflake, and he's gonna put it on this last pedestal. And so, and he's gonna say, if you notice the engravings on each of these stones, we have one looks like a snowflake, the fall of leaves, and he goes, I believe it's following the seasons.
The tides of time. Ian Fear, you're a genius.
Very well thought out.
And I believe This is going to be the same at the end, because it says the last path will be the same as the first if the first reverse was reversed.
The fourth is the reverse of the first if the first was reversed. So, how did you want to set up the fourth section?
Reverse. First. First. Okay, no, so he's gonna go over. So he's actually gonna place so he's gonna grab the snowflake one for the fourth section, and he's gonna place that on the first pedestal.
Snowflake on the first pedestal. All right. It seems to just sink right into place.
And then
It's very satisfying, actually.
And then he's gonna grab the leaves and put that right next to it.
Hey, question.
Go ahead.
Is there, like, if you put a stone that's not in the right place, would it resist, or would it also fall directly into place? Or could we tell?
Don't know yet.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know
Okay.
yet. I'm gonna go and grab the sun one, and then place it next to the leaves.
How big are the stones?
They're about the size of the palm of your hand.
So I could pick one up in my mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Yolanthe goes over to one of the tree ones and brings it over to Ian Fear in her mouth, like a ball.
And then after sort of rubbing the saliva off onto his pants, he'll put the tree one onto the last pedestal.
Once again, the stone just sinks into the center of the pedestal slightly with a very satisfying.
Can you bring up the sign again?
Absolutely, I can. In fact, I will go as far as to give you guys all observer on the sign. So you can now access that, and you should be able to access that in your journal now. Your journal section. So just to fill the air, I'm going to go ahead and read the sign out loud one more time. The first path begins with life and proceeds as does the tides of time. The second is the first, but in the reverse. The third is the reverse of the first, reversed if the first began with night. The fourth is the reverse of the reverse of the first if the first was reversed. It's enough to make your head spin, really.
So Infier's gonna grab the reverse of the first. The first was reversed. Okay. First. Okay, so Infier's gonna grab the snowflake one, and he's going to place it on the first pedestal of the second set.
What makes you so sure that's where that one goes, Ian Fear?
He's gonna say, so the sign says that the second is the first, but in reverse.
So the second is... yes. That does make sense.
And then so he's gonna grab the leaf one and put it next to the snowflake.
The leaf one. Put it next to the snowflake.
Then
You guys are all kind of watching Ian Fear go to work on this puzzle here.
Then grab the sun one and put it next to the leaves. And then the tree will be next to the sun.
Each of the stones, one at a time, sinks into its into each of these slots in the pedestal with that very satisfying shook.
All right. Aemfir is then going to grab the snowflake, and he's gonna place it on the first pedestal.
Inferior, why the snowflake?
Well, it says that if it would be the reverse of the reverse, but beginning with the night. Well, hang on. Let me look at this sign real quick. Reverse of the first reversed. If the first began with night. First, reverse. First.
The third is the reverse of the first reversed if the first began with night.
First that. And then he's gonna go third verse. Yeah, night.
I'm not understanding the reference to night in this case.
Well, if we're going with time as it passes through the tides of time, then you would, if you're passing through time, you start with day. So that would be at the beginning. And if you were to end, you would end with night. So if the reverse, if time began with night, and you're going through reverse, the original reverse would begin with day if instead of beginning with night. But then you're reversing it again, so you're beginning with night.
I see. Interesting logic puzzle. But why night in this case, and what does night have to do with the snowflake?
Because if we're following the logic of going through the progression of time with these being the seasons, then if night were to be the end of the time, and the snowflake would be the last season because of the winter.
Interesting. Okay.
And then so yeah, Aemfir is gonna put the leave. So he's gonna follow the same sort of like pattern from these other ones, with the leaf right next to the snowflake, the sun next to the leaf, and then the tree next to the sun.
Each of the stones sinks into its a pedestal with yet another satisfying shook. One moment here. As the final rune sinks into the pedestal, a Well, one moment here. Moment. Whoops. Okay, as the last stone sinks into the pedestal, a slow and low rumbling noise begins to sort of quake. You can feel the vibrations beneath your feet in the ground, and the stone statues flanking the sides of this setup seem to turn inward and toward you, and they slowly stand upright.
Yolanthe starts growling and like fur raising up.
Everybody go ahead and roll a knit.
Alright.
Oh, you need to put an active combat encounter.
Yeah, it says there's no
Oh, right,
active
sorry.
combat encounter. No can do, Captain.
Oh,
Oh, is that another nat one?
yeah.
Wait,
Well,
was
there
that
was a nat
two?
one right after that.
Oh no, okay. Was that a nat 20 and then a nat 1? So that's 2 nat 20s for this fucking round so far. That is awesome. Roll mine. Ooh.
Wait, oh, ouch.
I'll be right back one more time.
Oh, Val. In fear, you can't help but feel like somehow you might have fucked up.
Yeah, I figured.
The statues themselves are they're sort of a large humanoid figure. Before they kind of looked a little bit more monstrous in their hunched over sort of pose, but now that they're standing upright, they are foreboding and very well, sinister looking. Palaneth, have you rolled initiative? Did I
Yeah,
miss
I
that?
rolled a 20.
Why do I not see that?
I got Yolanthe's.
Maybe I need to roll again.
You roll?
I did though, but I'll roll again.
Can I?
Okay, there you go.
Let me update it because if you rolled a 20, there we go.
No,
Updated.
I mean I might have thought that I rolled a 20 because I saw someone else's dice.
Okay, I understand. So it was like what was it, a 14? 17.
Yeah, it is a 14. Yeah.
Still a very nice roll. Oh, it was a 17 with your modifier.
Oh, okay.
All right, let us begin. So Yolanthe, seeing these these statues stand upright. They fix their gaze on the group of you, and you can only sense their intentions. Eulanthi, you are up first. So what's your
Okay.
play?
So they're made out of stone, right?
They do appear to be made out of stone, yes.
I would like to lunge forward towards one of them to try to like kind of knock into it to see if I can knock it over.
Ooh, okay. So you're gonna try to knock this thing off of its feet by lunging at it.
Yeah, and if I
let's
can
go ahead
try to aim it to knock into one of the other ones, that would be even better. But if not, then just to knock it prone.
Well, they're a little bit far apart to be able to knock one into the other one.
Okay, my map just turned black on me. Hold on one sec. I see my token, but not.
That might be a problem with the lighting.
Oh, I don't know. Do I need to refresh it?
Yeah, that might be a problem with the lighting. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can fix that. That might be a me thing.
Oh no, it's still a black screen. Like I see my token, but I don't see anybody else's, and I don't see the statues.
What is going on here?
Yeah, maybe try reloading just in case, because I did have to reload to get everything blow back up.
Token vision is there. Yeah, when I'm clicking on the character, though, it's also like darkening really bad.
How weird. Is my token in this listy corner?
No, give me a second here. Let's go to BRB for just a moment while I try to fix this.
Okay, BRB.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. We got that squared away. So let's go ahead and get started. So Eulanthi, you wanted to kind of leap into the statue here, if I recall, and
Yes.
try to knock it over. Yes.
Yeah, the one straight in front of me.
All right, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a strength check for this one. This is for you to just kind of like body this thing.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh no.
So you go kind of you just like full blast, like run toward this thing, and you leap up into the air and present your shoulder toward it. Just kind of slam into this thing as hard as you can, but it is like a wall. You see, you take.
Yeah, I yelp a little bit.
You take 4 points of damage.
Okay.
That hurt quite a lot. So you guys just kind of watch as Eulanthi dashes up toward this thing and just slams into it as hard as she can, to no avail. Thing doesn't even budge. Eulanthi, any other actions here? Bonus actions, etc.?
I guess if I can move without opportunity attack, then I'll go ahead and kind of move back towards Tess and like stand in front of her and bark.
You take a 5-foot step back, picking yourself up off the ground. You landed on your feet. You weren't prone or anything, so you just take a 5-foot step back.
Okay.
Okay, the first statue. Let me see here. First statue is going to hurl a firebolt at you, Talanith. Does a 17 hit? Talanith, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Does a 17 hit versus your armor class?
My armor class is exactly 17.
That is just barely a hit. Let me see here. Rolling damage on that. Talanith, you're taking 18 points of damage.
Oh boy.
This statue, the statue kind of like hauls back, and its eyes glow momentarily. A mote of fire appears on its hand, and it just hurls this bolt of fire directly at you, Talanith, and it nails you square in the chest. Flames kind of lick the sides of your being. You guys watch this happen as Talanith kind of reels back in pain. Scorch marks kind of appearing on his armor. All right. Let me see here. A second here. The other statue approaches you, Yolanthe.
Oh boy.
And you have an incoming shocking grasp. So lightning springs from your hand to deliver a shock to a creature you try to touch. Make a melee. Right, so this is a melee attack here. Does a 16 hit?
It does, yes.
All right, rolling damage on that. You've got 16 damage incoming.
Okay, well, I'm officially not a wolf anymore.
Let me see if I can how do I undo that? How do I undo that? I do not remember how to do that. I thought that was like a revert button, something like that, but let's just go ahead and I guess drag in your character. So it was oh my gosh. There we go. Yolanthe, you come out of your beast form, not willingly. You sort of so this thing grabs you by the back, and just this electricity just kind of like engulfs you. You kind of feel yourself freeze up and tense as you're forced from your wolf form. You guys watch as the wolf, like all of the fur is just shed onto the ground, and Yolanthe kind of takes her humanoid form, reeling back in pain. This thing just drops Yolanthe onto the floor, and Yolanthe hoists herself up with her hands. Electricity still sort of crackling along her body.
Oh, these foes are formidable.
Talanith, you're up.
Clearly, my daggers are not going to do anything to these things. Best thing that I know how to do is to try and kick one of them over.
I can tell you from experience it doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
I'd like everybody to go ahead and roll a perception check, if you please. Okay. Excellent, thank you. Ian Fear. All very good rolls. Everybody present, you notice toward the, if you look kind of down the path and toward the sign, the path has now splayed out just like beyond the sign. So it like continues to move into a section of forest that looks kind of different to the one that is that you're currently standing in. The lighting actually even looks different. It's as though the sun is just peeking through the clouds, pointed down on specifically this section of forest.
Wait, like which side? Like, is it like this
direction?
path? This.
Yep, that direction. Yes.
Okay.
For those who didn't see, it's this direction up here to the north, to the northeast. Talanith, what are you doing?
So, I think the only choice is to run in that direction.
Okay, you have 30 feet of movement with a standard movement, or 60 feet of movement if you intend to dash. Use both. By dashing, I mean using both. Every turn of combat in D&D, you get a you get one movement, which would be your entire movement ability, which in this case would be 30 feet, and one action, meaning you can also attack. If you take the dash action, you can take your action to move your entire movement a second time, making your entire movement 60 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dash, because clearly we're not gonna be able to face these things head on.
Okay. I would like to mention that if you dash this close to the statue, it will incur an attack of opportunity.
Okay. It's going to be after.
Meaning you would have to move this direction. 5, 10, 15. So that would take 15 feet worth of movement to just move that. Or I'm sorry, this would be 5 and then 10 this way. So essentially you'd have to move specifically around that way.
Okay.
10, then we have 15, 20, 25, etc. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And yeah, it looks like you can actually exit this area.
All right. Like I go up here?
Yeah, you can actually move all the way up here with a dash action. So you guys just watch Talanith like book it past them. Talanith, are you communicating anything with the party at this point? Or?
Yes, absolutely. Telling them to follow me.
Talanith beckons for all of you to follow suit.
Tess is going to hold her action until everyone is beyond her.
Tess is holding action. Valphalin moves forward toward the statue over here. He calls out as he sees Talanith move past. Go! I'll cover your escape. I'll follow just after you leave. Valphalin is going to make an attack. Let's see. We need goading attack. We are going to use one hit dice. Are we going to use? I'm sorry, not one hit dice. One of his superiority dice. Yes. Making a weapon attack against the... Why did that not count? There we go. Making a weapon attack against this guy. With his longsword. We're at 23. Which connects. So Valphalin shield up and moving in on the enemy. He takes a wide swing against this statue You see his blade just ricochet off this statue, but you see chunks of rock fall down to the ground, rock and dust. You see, so that is okay. That one is. I'm gonna make one more attack. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The this actually had a. Let's see. One superiority die to add to the total to the damage roll. So I believe that is a, what is that, a D6? What is his superiority die? Sorry about that. Superiority dice. So we're going to go ahead and roll that. That's how we do that. Okay. So here's the extra damage. Just kind of ricochets off this thing's leg. He's actually going to go ahead and make one more strike. Oh, shoot. I didn't realize the extra 10 necrotic damage. Oh, no, never mind. It's construct. Second attack. 17, which also hits. Valfalen takes a couple of swings at this this creature. The first of which is a very loud and very prominent swing directly for its face. It chunks into the side of its face, and this thing immediately looks down toward Val. Eyes just close on him. His shield up. He takes a second swing at the leg and chunks out a big chunk of rock from his leg, which kind of bleeds down. But his sword doesn't seem to be doing much against this monster. Again, he sort of takes a defensive stance, looks at the rest of you, and says, "Go, hurry!" Ian Fear, you're up.
All right, so Ian Fear is going to start moving. Well, let me grab him real quick. Oh, that's why. Select. Oh, am I? No. Select. That's why. 15, 25. So 30 feet should move him like right here.
Yep, and if you are able to take the dash action, which will allow you to move double your movement speed if you'd like.
So instead, Ian Fear is gonna sort of hone in on the other golem over here, underneath him, and he's gonna cast Vitriolic Sphere.
Vitriolic Sphere. So this golem here. Which one could you ping, please?
Hang on a sec, because I have to put an area effect.
Oh, I see.
We'll put it like this.
Before you do that, now knowing where your target is, please roll a wild magic.
Okay.
So, house rules on wild magic. Where did I put that? Where the hell did I put that? There it is. So your wild magic formula will be 1d20 plus your spell level. So in this case, it's a 4th level spell. So you'll be 1d20 plus 4. If the roll is higher than your spell save DC, then wild magic occurs. If it is lower than your spell save DC, we are safe.
Okay.
We've got a 14 plus 4, that is 18. What is your spell save DC?
I believe it's 17.
Woo! Checking. Your DC is 16. Please roll a wild magic surge.
Okay.
Everybody
41.
watch as. Oh, right. Sorry. 41. Ian Fear, as you you start to book it past these statues, and you flip around one moment to assist Val and take a shot at one of the statues, carefully planning how you'll do this spell. But in your haste, your wild magic surge triggers. Let me grab that table real quick here.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, come on, load, man. Okay, there we go.
Oh no!
Oh God! Oh God!
Oh, that's a good sign.
No.
Oh, looks like we're in for some fun.
Ian Fear. Well, okay. You all watch as Ian Fear takes off past these things, turns around, his hands start to glow, and he starts to cast what he thinks to be a spell that's going to going to explode and do a ton of damage against this thing. But he instead turns himself into a potted plant.
And he thinks, oh no, not again.
I know he told us we should leave, but this is a little ridiculous.
Staring at the potted plant situation that just happened, Tess is going to just... Ian Fear, are you serious?
Ian Fear, you uncontrollably look at Tess and you say, "Feed me, Seymour."
Wait, like, he's in a pot, right? Like, not rooted into the ground?
He is
I am in a pot. Yeah.
What kind of plant?
He is a little Venus flytrap.
Oh no,
sweet.
they're very fragile. Somebody needs to go pick up his pot.
He is very fragile.
No, like for real, somebody needs to save Ian Fear. So can I use my turn? To try and
I didn't mean to do that, sorry.
to try and dispel magic on this golem here to see if that helps incapacitate it.
You specifically mentioned before that you were holding your turn until everyone is able to get away, which means we need to actually get back to Yol. Wait, why is Yolanthe not included in the turn order?
I have no idea.
No, hold on. I don't know how that got messed up. Oh no, I do know how that got messed up. Give
Because
me
I'm
a
a
second.
person now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had to revert your form. Give me a second. Let me redo that. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Just don't let the puppy come back. I am not territory to be marked.
You rolled a 22 for initiative,
Yes.
Yolanthe. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that it had taken that away.
Hey, no worries. We didn't
Okay.
skip my turn, so it's all good.
Yeah, we did not skip your turn. So, Ian Fear, your turn now being ended because you are a plant. Yolanthe, you are actually up next.
Okay, Yolanthe looks over and sees that Ian Fear has become a plant. She kind of like gasps and her eyes glow green and orange, and she uses her Fey Step ability, which is basically Misty Step, to appear over beside him to scoop him up. Or
Okay,
it up.
go ahead and cast it.
I'm not sure how. It's my Fey Step ability. Let me see.
Should be in your spell book, and if you let's see, so phase step. Ah, yes, perfect. Phase step. Once per short rest as a bonus action, you can magically teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Your phase step gains an additional effect based on your current season. DC a plus 11 if the effect requires a saving throw. What is the additional effect?
It probably depends on the like if it's like spring, summer, or fall or something.
Yeah.
As a bonus action, you can magically when you reach 3rd level, your phase step gains an additional effect based on your season. Autumn immediately afterwards. Up to 2 creatures of your choice you could see. Become charmed for a minute. Winter. So click the more info at the more details at the bottom. It gives the full
Yeah,
details.
she's in autumn form, so it would be the charm the 2 creatures which I don't have anybody I need to charm. And Ian Fear's the only thing here, but he's a plant, not a creature. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, these I don't think. Oh no, well, no, you can charm them.
What, a plant?
No, not the plant. No, but you can choose, right?
Yeah, but they have to be within 10 feet.
They were. One of them was within 10 feet when you executed the teleport.
It's after you use
Up
it.
to
Oh, okay. I
immediately
understand.
after you use up to 2 creatures of your
Yeah,
choice
so-
within 10 feet of you. Yeah.
Understand. So yep, you teleport and immediately scoop up Ian Fear's pot.
Yes, and then I will start to make my way in the direction that that we're supposed to go, I guess.
Technically, you still have your movement available, so you
I was
can
going to
move
say,
another 30
I
feet.
think that would still give me another 30 feet.
Yeah, you took an action to cast Phase Step. You can now move. Actually, that was a bonus action, so you can still. So technically, you use your action to scoop up Ian Fear, and you carry him to 30 feet.
Yes. And all the while looking over my shoulder at Val and Tess to make sure they're still following me along.
Whew.
And then that's it.
Tess, now that the others, other than Valphalin, have made their way past, now that you know that Valphalin is not on his way out, I will allow you to go ahead and take your action here if you'd like. Or you can hold your action for some reason.
I just did it.
Ah, what is it?
I'm checking to see if Dispel Magic will help on this, specifically this one that Val is fighting. To see if it'll incapacitate it or make it just a statue again.
Go ahead and make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, the spell ends.
Spellcasting ability. Which one is that?
Yeah, how do you... Oh, that would be your wisdom. Looking
I
at your
see.
spellcasting, it's a spellcasting wisdom, DC 14. So go ahead and make a wisdom check.
I'm gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that.
Inspiration.
I almost should have reused inspiration for re-rolling the magic thing, but
I don't know. That was
I
rude.
think it's funnier to be a plant.
I didn't like that 3.
Oh, DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. That's a good question. Give me a second here.
Is it dispelled? No one knows.
You focus on the spell. You utter your cant of magic and wave your hands, but and for a moment, the statue seems as though it is struggling to maintain its existence. It seems to fight back. It seems to fight back on your spell and maintains its form. Sadly. No effect.
Well, Tess tried.
But almost in effect. It seemed like it started to work, but didn't quite.
Run for it.
You gonna take off running?
Yeah.
You can move
Let's
up to
see.
30 feet.
Yeah, let me... Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Make a break for it, Val. And Tess is gonna take off running.
All right. The first statue attempts to hit you with another firebolt, or attempts to hit you with a firebolt. Tess, does a 25 hit your armor class?
Probably. Yeah, it does.
A firebolt comes flying toward you, dealing 17 damage.
Wait a minute. I need to see what my my reaction spells are.
You all, I should also point out that you have a resistance to fire, so that damage will be halved. Rounded
Okay,
down.
so I have wait. The damage to you is momentarily surrounded. Okay. So I have Hellish Rebuke here. They have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. And if I remember correctly, yeah, it's going to have disadvantage on this throw. 9 versus your DC 12 dexterity. That is a fail. Go ahead and roll your damage. $12 damage. The flames begin to surround the creature, or surround the statue. They start to scorch away at some of the stone on its figure, but it seems to be mostly unaffected. Valphalin yells back, "Go! I'll be right behind you!" As the statue in front of him takes a swing with a dagger. Valphalin easily dodges the first attack. Oh, that's all it has. Talanith, you're up. Are you just going to continue running?
I'm going to run just a little bit closer to everyone to see if anybody needs help escaping.
Okay, so we'll say you probably hold back a little bit in your run, so you run the next 30 feet, waiting for everybody to kind of catch up with you. Sound good?
Yeah.
Because everybody is currently like booking it in your direction, except for Val, who is like staying behind, trying to give you the time to escape.
Kind of want to get a little bit closer to make sure that he's going to be okay, though. So probably moving. Can I move close to where Tess is?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. We'll say you kind of like hang back to catch up with Tess while she's running. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tess, you see Talanith kind of intentionally slow down to allow you to catch up with him. And he's kind of looking back, obviously worried about Val.
Val's back there with that thing. He seems very determined. Whew. Allow Tess to catch her breath. Whew.
You're not out of danger yet, Tess.
He's attempting to hold that statue off, but the other one is incoming. We have to do something to get him out of there.
You see that Valphalin has sort of a defensive stance. It looks like it's his intention to sort of slowly back off. Once y'all are within a safe distance, he will himself turn around and run.
I guess if we're to trust him, we should maybe take a few steps back.
You take a few steps back. I'll stay.
Sounds like a plan. Are you trying to like stealth ninja, hide in the shadows?
Okay, so Talanith, you kind of run back up. Valphalin kind of looks back at you, his shield up against this statue. He's taken a step back away from it, looks at you and goes, "Go! I'll follow right behind!" Not sure if that actually picked up in my mic. Hopefully it did.
Glanith grins but doesn't move.
Okay. Any other actions you'd like to take here? You have only used your movement. You can still use any of your abilities, really.
These things are just completely stone, right?
They are completely made of stone. You have witnessed that it looks like they are taking very little damage from any kind of physical attack, and they are taking very little damage from any kind of magical attack.
Position.
What's that?
I hold my position.
You hold your position. Okay. Tess, you're up. I know you've already used a bit of your movement.
Yeah, Tess is just, does she, so I'm assuming Yolanthe and Ian Fear Plant are right behind Tess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yolanthe is trying to see if she can figure out a way to break the spell or curse that made him a plant, but she doesn't know exactly what to do, so she's just kind of carrying the pot for now.
Yeah, she just has this pot kind of like wrapped in her arms, like kind of clutching it to her torso, and she is just booking it away from these things before Ian Fear gets hurt.
Just take good care of him. Tess is gonna hold her position for now and wait to see how everything kind of turns out with Kalanith and Val.
Okay, Valphalin. Let's see. Oh, I could have used a reaction. Okay, that's fine. Let's see here. All right, Valphalin's going to go ahead and use Distracting Strike once more. So that means a superiority dice comes out. We're going to go ahead and roll an attack against this guy. Going to go ahead and roll my second attack. Going to use my action surge to actually I'm going to hold that action surge, but I am going to use it. So we are going to so we have a 14 and a 10. The 14 connects, so damage on that. Normal. This is the one that also includes the superiority dice with the distracting strike. So that is 12 plus 5, which is -6 and -2. The statue doesn't look like it's very phased by Valphalin's strikes, but as he, for his action surge, he is taking one additional action to start to move away from the statue. He's keeping his shield turned toward the statue, though, which allows the statue an attack of opportunity with a dagger. That is a critical hit.
Oh.
Sheesh.
7 damage on the critical hit. Valphalin, stepping back, his shield still turned toward this statue. The statue reels back with a dagger and hits him in the shield square with the blunt end of the dagger. You hear a kang that echoes through the rest of the surrounding wood as Valphalin sort of slides backward another 5 feet and then flips around and starts running in the direction of the rest of the party. passing you up to Laneth. He says, "Go! Hurry!" Ian Fear, you're up.
So at the beginning of my turn, I turn back into myself.
Yes.
Just being cradled,
yeah,
cradled by Yolanthe.
So suddenly Yolanthe, like this potted plant, becomes me. So I'm like, so you're carrying all my weight as I turn back to no.
Is that a strength check?
So your physical form, it sort of leaks out of the bottom of this pot to form your legs, and Yolanthe, you kind of quickly notice this and sort of surprised, you kind of reel back from it, but maintaining your clutch on the plant because you're worried, you wind up with just the form of Ian Fear, and you're just embracing him.
I mean, I care for you too, but we need to get out of here.
Yolanthe kind of blinks and then pulls her arms away, like real quick, like, oh god, what? And then she looks around, she's like, everybody's not very good at escaping, are they?
Okay, so for his action, Ian Fear is gonna say, okay, maybe we'll try something a little bit less powerful this time. And he's gonna sort of concentrate, and he's gonna cast Hypnotic Pattern.
Yolanthe backs up.
Hypnotic Pattern. Yolanthe backs up. Go ahead and roll your Wild Magic Surge.
Right.
1d20 plus your spell level. We're looking for a roll that is lower than 16.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Yes, all right. Go ahead. A 14 plus
Ooh.
your spell level, which is a 3rd level spell, so that is 14,
So hang on
15,
a sec.
16, 17. You can
Is that-
I will allow you to bend luck in the opposite direction. If you would like to do so.
Well, the thing is bend luck. It's not supposed to be for me, but
Let me see your bend luck. Can you link it?
yeah.
Okay, it is when another creature. Never mind.
Hold on a sec, because
Let me go ahead and delete
one
that.
other thing I can do. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So question, would this count as an ability check?
That is you know what? That is a really good question. Does this count as an ability check? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. This does count as an ability. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do something that I haven't actually done, and I'm gonna try this out. So this is magical guidance. I can spend a sorcery point to re-roll the d20 if it's considered a failure.
Yep.
And then,
Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you do it. Yeah.
And then, but I have to take this next re-roll essentially.
Okay. Go for it. Looking for a low roll. I might need to rework this to look for a high roll, but let's
fine.
go ahead and. This is a homebrew rule, by the way. Go ahead and roll it.
There we go.
That is a pass. All right, so your original spell Hypnotic Pattern goes off. Create a twisting pattern of colors that weaves through the air inside a 30-foot cube within range. The pattern appears for a moment and vanishes. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed by this spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0. The spell ends for an affected creature if it takes any damage or if someone else uses an action to shake the creature out of its stupor. A glowing stick of incense. Okay, yeah, that you have a say. Okay,
So these have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw, and I think. Okay. These guys actually do have resistance against magical effects, so this is with advantage, sadly. A 19 from the first one. That is a pass. Oh, and an 11 from the second one. The second one is incapacitated. Where's... Well, it has a speed of 0, so I'm just going to kind of... Yeah, let's hit it with that. That looks fine.
Right.
Okay, so you see the you start to weave the sort of the fabric of reality and create these colors surrounding both of them. In this big square, or in this big area, they both sort of look confused for a moment. One of them locks back onto Valphalin, but the other one seems to be very entranced by the colors surrounding it. It becomes confused and unable to act.
And the Fair's going to say, all right, I've done what I can. Let's get out of here.
Dalancia, you're up next.
I mean, I still got my movement.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Ian Fear, if you want to use your movement.
Yeah, I'm going to just move towards that square.
Okay, so you continue to run. Cool. Dalancia, you're up next.
Okay. How close is everyone?
Well, Tess is within 5 feet of you. Valphalin, 5, 10...
I think it was
about 20
right
feet
there.
from you.
Okay, good.
Talanith is also about 5, 10, 15, about 20 feet from you.
Yolanthe reaches into her pouch and pulls out a little vial that has a bit of ash in it and a little sprig of some sort of plant, and kind of crumbles the plant up into her hand, and then blows it into the air and casts Pass Without Trace, which will apply to all of myself and my companions within 30 feet.
Let's cut to BRB for 1 second. Pass Without Trace. So a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you has a +10 bonus to dexterity. checks and can't be tracked except by magical means. Creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of its passage. I assume that you're selecting everybody within range.
Yes.
All right, so Galanthe reaches out to each of us, and a veil of shadows and silence just radiates from each of you. So you immediately notice this was Valphalin, as his armor suddenly is not making the heavy clanking sound as he steps around. All right. The animated statue that is still coherent takes a step forward, but kind of looking around, doesn't seem to notice anything. He doesn't seem to see anyone or
Does this interrupt the hypnotic pattern? I'm actually not sure how it affects other spells.
No, those are not in range because those shadows and everything emanate from each of the characters that you've reached out to.
Gotcha.
The statue kind of lumbers forward. It doesn't seem to be able to lock onto anything in particular, so it just kind of ends its turn there. The other statue is incapacitated and unable to move. Talanith, you're up. Let's go while we have the advantage.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and, now that Valphalin is with us, run back to where we need to go.
Is everybody committed to running away at this point? Group question.
Yes.
Yep.
With the monsters incapacitated and you guys otherwise not making any sounds whatsoever, you are able to successfully make it away from these creatures, Valphalin in tow, and moving down the path. You notice that the statues are kind of slowly lumbering behind you. Well, at least one of them is slowly lumbering behind you, but keeping quite a distance as it doesn't know where exactly you are. You continue to run down the path. At what point do you feel like you are free to stop? Is it just when you lose sight of the statues, or how do you want to do that? Group question.
I would say when we lose sight of the statues.
Everyone else?
Agreed.
It looks like this lasts for an hour, but it's a concentration, so I guess as long as I need it up, then I can leave it up.
Okay. So you all start to head down this path. And as you go, the environment around you starts to change somewhat. First from a very lush and green, sunny sort of forest into a very hot and sunny forest, into a kind of more cool and leaves starting to fall from the trees, and finally into sort of a snowy, cold forest. You pass through each of these, and it's almost like these are kind of coming minute by minute as you run. Before long, you lose sight of the statues, and you come to a halt in once again the lush green environment. That was close.
Yeah, those things were very scary.
Everybody go ahead and roll a perception check, please. Just up the road or just up the road ahead of you, there are, or you can see the base of the giant cliff. Talanith, you personally, having even though you have only seen this for the first time just now, can make out what looks to be a door, along with a wall right in the front of this, or right at the base of this cliff.
Anybody seeing this door?
A door?
There's a door right ahead at the base of the cliff.
Ah, this must be the cliff that we've been searching for. But I suppose I do see a door.
That seems to be our only lead. I suggest that we move towards it.
And with that, let's go ahead and cut the session for the day. It has been a lot of fun. Thank you.